6 years ago, Rick Warren punched me in the face. I was at a massive church conference and the crowd was going crazy. There's over 3,000 people there, and we just finished up with an incredible worship session with some of the coolest lights and fog and special effects that I'd ever seen. It was awesome. You could literally feel the energy in the room. All the other speakers were wearing $400 skinny jeans and designer shirts. And then Rick Warren gets up there wearing a faded pair of blue jeans and a black t-shirt, and he was barefoot. So while everyone else came out and they spoke with fire and hype and excitement, Pastor Rick literally sat down on an old wooden stool and started talking in a quiet, almost grandfatherly tone. Now, I was pretty judgy in those days, and I hate to admit this, but I'd already determined that I didn't have anything to learn from the guy who wrote The Purpose-Driven Life. I know, super judgy, but I thought, well, that book's for baby Christians, right? It's kind of like spiritual milk, and I was much more spiritually mature, right? I was into the deep things of God. So I knew Rick had a huge church, but I just assumed it was because he was watering down the gospel somehow, right? Kind of like a motivational speaker that got saved and then became a pastor. So I was sure everyone would leave his church every Sunday feeling warm and fuzzy, but I assumed it was because his church was growing because he was just a really positive guy who made people feel good, but never asked too much of them, right? And I reasoned that's the opposite of the gospel message, and so I just dismissed it before I'd even met him. Ridiculous, I know. But back then, I thought that all you had to do was just preach the word, no matter how inconvenient it was, and then have good church services, and your church would grow. But my church was doing those things, and we weren't growing. So we literally continued to hit our head on the same attendance lid. I mean, year after year, we just kept ping-ponging back and forth between two different attendance levels. So what happened is we'd grow to a certain number, and then something would happen, and then we'd drop back down to where we were before. Okay, maybe you guys have experienced this, right? Because then we start to grow again, then we'd hit that same watermark, and something would happen, and we'd drop back down to where we started again. Okay, it was like this vicious cycle. Any of you guys who've been in ministry for 5 minutes know that church growth barriers are a real thing, and we've been trying to break through ours for over 5 years. So we're stuck in that same cycle over and over and over. We just couldn't grow past that same watermark no matter how hard we tried. And then Rick Warren shows up barefoot one day, sitting on a stool, and he said this: "It takes God 6 hours to grow a mushroom, but it takes him 60 years to grow an oak tree. Mushrooms spring up overnight and they're gone the next day, but oak trees last for hundreds of years. Children play in them, couples get married under them, and people build their lives around them. Do you want your church to be a mushroom or an oak tree?" I felt like someone had punched me in the face. My first thought was, dear God, forgive me for judging Rick Warren. My second thought was, holy crap, that's why we can't get past our growth barrier. Right? I kept doing mushroom things and expecting oak trees. So everything we were trying back there, direct mail and marketing and advertising in the local paper and begging our people to invite their friends and family and everyone they know, right? None of it worked because we were looking for that one thing that would explode the church and cause us to blow past that lid that was on our church. So I call this is mushroom mentality versus oak tree strategy. I vowed from then on I wouldn't ever fall into the trap of mushroom mentality, so I committed to learning and figuring out oak tree strategy. Not long after that, I found out about a brand new thing called Facebook ads. Now, this was 6 years ago, but I realized that if I studied Facebook ads and I learned how they work, I could actually use them to attract new visitors to our church and then probably even re-engage past members who hadn't been in a long time. So it literally took 6 years of studying and testing and succeeding and failing and learning and failing and learning again. But I finally figured out the secret to using Facebook ads to grow a church. In fact, I even used Facebook ads to grow my own church over the summer. All right, we saw more first-time guests walk through the doors than any summer in the 25-year history of the church leading up to that point. So here's the deal. Right now, you have two choices. You can spend the next 6 years figuring out your own oak tree strategy, or you can just use mine. We're opening up 15 spots for pastors who want to grow their church. We've already had 3 churches sign up, so we got about 12 spots left. All right. So if you're interested in hiring the experts to run Facebook ads for your church, then click on the link below in the description, sign up for a strategy call, and let's have a chat about it. Mushroom mentality pastors need not apply. This is specifically for innovative pastors who are committed to oak tree strategy. All right. Click on the link below, sign up for a time to chat, and man, let's see if we'd be a good fit. So here's what we're going to do. We'll run all of your Facebook ads. We'll set up the entire plan your visit system for your church. We'll even build out a 12-week follow-up system designed specifically to re-engage those first-time visitors and get them to come back again. Now, if that sounds like something you're interested in, let's have a conversation and see if it makes sense for us to partner up. Playing it safe isn't in your DNA. Mark Batterson said that Jesus didn't die to make us safe. He died to make us dangerous. Let us help you be dangerous. See you soon.